welcome to this edition of R&B Reviews. I'm Rob, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new film, The Watchmen. Now, I just want to let all of you know in advance, I haven't read the graphic novel by Alan Moore that it's based off of, so I'm just going to review the film as a film. Now, The Watchmen takes place in the United States in an alternate 1985, where costume superheroes are part of, everyday society, everyday life. And there's still a strong tension between the USA and the Soviet Union over a possible nuclear war. The plot is when a former superhero by the name of the Comedian is murdered, one of his contemporaries, Rorschach, sets out to find out who did it, who was responsible for it, and while he does, he uncovers a big plot that involves killing all past superheroes as well as some from the present. While on his mission, he reconnects with a lot of his other contemporaries, such as the Night Owl, or Daniel as he's normally known as, Dr. Manhattan, and the Silk Spectre, who each feel it is their responsibility to protect humanity. Now, I just want to say, if from looking at the trailer, if you think this movie is like the next Fantastic Four or Batman or Iron Man, you're probably going to be a little bit disappointed, because this film is very complex, because it kind of explores each of the characters, what their feelings are and their views on humanity, and goes through their own inner thoughts. And it's not all about the action, it's more about the characters in this film. And the film is also told in a non-linear style, meaning that it's not told in chronological order, and it's not from just one character's perspective. Like, for example, there's the perspective from Rorschach, where he's trying to figure out who killed the Comedian and tries to get to the bottom of it. There's Night Owl's perspective, where he's trying to get readapted to human society. And then there's the relationship between Laurie, aka the Silk Spectre, and Dr. Manhattan, and Dr. Manhattan's view on humanity in general. So it is a bit complicated. But on the other hand, I kind of liked that we got to know all of the characters through this non-linear style, instead of just focusing on one character and just following it through one character the whole time. I like that very much. And the heroes in this movie aren't necessarily the superheroes that we come to know exactly. They're more humanized. I mean, they're good crime fighters, but Dr. Manhattan is the only one that actually has superpowers in the film. And the film felt to me like a film noir. An example of that that came to my mind when I was watching this film is it kind of reminded me of Chinatown with Jack Nicholson. I know, a strange comparison to make, but think about it. In both films, there's a murder that seems like a murder, but there's actually something bigger involved. And there's also it takes place in a city. It's dark, and there's also the possibility that the villain of the film might get away without the justice he deserves. So that's what it definitely reminded me of. And there were some very interesting film twists and different perspectives on humanity in general, like the Comedian thinks life is a joke and all that, and that humans are really savages and they're eventually going to destroy the world. It's definitely a very interesting perspective. And the film had great character actors in it. They played the villains and the supporting players and the superheroes. They were all, I thought, very good. And I think casting character actors was a very good choice, because you can believe that these are really heroes or whatever characters, and I think that they all gave a very great performance, and the photography looked very good. However, there might be some things that people may not get into. For example, the movie is 171 minutes. It's almost 3 hours, so the length of the film might turn some people off a little bit. And there were a couple of times I looked at my watch, I'm like, is this movie over yet? Because I felt there were a few slow spots. But another thing that is, a lot of people seem to be opposed to Zack Snyder's use of using slow motion during fight scenes. I personally I wasn't really bothered by it at all. I actually kind of liked I thought it added something to it. But yeah, this film, if you go into Watchmen, expect it to be like Fantastic Four or Iron Man or something, where it's all a lot of great, it's like a popcorn blockbuster flick. This isn't really what it is at all. It's definitely a complex, more of a thinker's superhero film. It does present a lot of complex themes, and it does make you think about what the characters are saying. And because of that, this might be one of those movies where you have to kind of watch it more than once in order to catch up on things you might have missed on the first viewing, or they said something that you want to really think about what they mean and all that. And as a result, I was kind of not really sure how to rate this movie, see it in theaters or rent it on DVD, because on one hand, if you see it in theaters, it looked very good on the big screen, and I really enjoyed seeing it in that format. But on the other hand, if you go to the theaters, you're like, I paid $9 to see it. There's a chance that you might be very disappointed in the film. But with Rent It, waiting till it comes out on DVD to rent it from a video store or the library, you could watch it as many times as you want, or if you feel this isn't the type of movie I really am into, you could just turn it off, or you can watch it again and again to really get a good grip on what the film is all about and how the characters feel and everything. So I was really divided on how to do it, but in the end, I'm going to go ahead and say Rent It. I think that it is worth seeing. For me, it was a little refreshing to see something different that's not like a popcorn action flick. It was definitely something where you can see the mood of the characters, and the photography was really great and all. So my verdict is Rent It on Watchmen. Alright, that's it for R&B reviews, and thank you very much for watching. Please post any comments. Perhaps you want to post a comment where you're like, I like this movie, or like, no, I didn't like this movie, or any sort of feedback. That would be greatly appreciated. I'm Rob, and thank you very much for watching.